Let's start it here. Can we hear me? Can we hear me? Can we hear me? Can we hear me?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the series. What you just heard was a live recording of me experimenting back when I made these clips. What it might have sounded like if I had like Spotify playing in the background. And as you can tell, it's not what I went with. It was a little jarring. I decided for the rest of the video that I wasn't going to do that. I was just going to speak into the mic like normal. And I do have some audio that works, that you can hear me clicking around and talking about what I'm doing. But as you can see here, I'm just moving items around in a chest. And that's not all that exciting. So I think my goal is to really just make this video series informative about the Feed the Beast mod pack and share my experience with it. And I can do that all a lot better in post. On the note of moving items around, I mentioned this in one of the first videos, but one of the biggest things in this mod pack, and in all the mod packs that have dozens of mods, is inventory management. And you can see right now why that's a problem. Like, we've got all these flowers in this one chest. I'm trying to even organize them by color, which isn't really all that important at this point. But they're also stuffed in a double chest with wood, ladders, crafting tables, and an obituary of all things. So the need for a more sophisticated form of storage is apparent already. But what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about this mod. And I think before anything, really, I should address the elephant of the room. Where am I? Because I'm not, it doesn't look like I'm in the mushroom biome. It doesn't look like I'm back at the sandy beach. Well, actually, I am in the mushroom biome. What I started doing was growing trees, these extra large, tall birch trees. First of the red color variety, because I figured they looked really good with the mushroom biome. And then as I was cutting them down with this tinker's like lumber axe, I realized that the top levels of the trees weren't getting cut down, the leaves were staying, and I just used that as a new foundation, started growing some yellow trees on top, and laid down this level of grass. So that's where I am. Let's talk now a little bit more about what I'm doing on this level, because I decided that there was this mod called Botania that I'd heard so much about. It's one of the earlier mods in the quest book, and I had no idea what to do with it. But it did a really great job walking me through. You know, you use these flowers to create new, like, generating flowers that generate this mana, and they can go into a mana pool or a mana pool. And then you can use that mana, and you can use other flowers to do useful things for you. You can see here I'm creating these what is it called, endoflames, which are taking any dropped combustible resource like coal or charcoal, and it will convert that resource into mana. So I have a system of charcoal going through a furnace, wood going into a furnace, coming out as charcoal, and then getting dropped onto these. The mana from them getting sucked into a mana pool, and then that being used for all various sorts of things. You know, one of those being a flower that automatically regenerates your health over time, kind of like a regeneration potion, but it uses the mana instead, so you can essentially turn chunks of coal into health. One of the far more useful ones, though, is a flower that turns surrounding stone, like regular Minecraft stone, into any of the ores that are generated in the world naturally in this mod pack, with a few exceptions. Unfortunately, one of those exceptions being the Certus quartz ore from Applied Energistics. That would be great. Doesn't happen. You do need a substantial amount of mana to run that one, but there's a huge variety of flowers and functions that can do things that you really want, like keeping creepers away, muffling the sound of animals, all sorts of fun stuff. A lot of the earlier flowers, whether the ones that generate mana or use mana for some sort of purpose, are not too resource intensive, but I would say it's probably a good idea to have a whole bunch of regular Minecraft materials stored up, including, in fact, a bunch of diamonds, because the mana diamonds are used for some of the earlier stuff. Overall, I find that this mod has become... It's gone from being one of the mods I know almost nothing about and would have honestly avoided because of there's a bit of a early game hurdle. You have to learn to make the apothecary. You have to learn to get familiar with making these original plants. And the way to do it's a little funny. You take the recipes for the plant and toss them in order into the petal apothecary with a bucket of water dumped in it. And then after all of the ingredients are in there, you have to supply it with seeds. And this isn't like right clicking. This is like pressing Q on the keyboard to drop the item in. And honestly, it is a little bit tedious. That's one of the other main reasons I avoided this mod for so long, is just getting started was so tedious. But it has gone from one of the mods that I avoided for so long to one of the mods that I feel like I'm going to use every single time I play, with a mod pack that has Botania. I'm going to speed through a little bit more of this footage a little bit faster. Essentially what I do is I realize, in order to make this orchid flower, this thing I want to use to generate ores for me, I need this pixie dust, which requires me to throw a mana sphere into an elven portal. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not actually nowhere close to this. So I maybe go for a simpler one. I start looking at the materials I use, and I realize that I'm going to need to go downstairs to grab some materials that I need for these runes and for these flowers. Another great example of why I need a more cohesive storage system. I don't want to have to run back downstairs every time I need something new while I'm working on this level of my facility. Now eventually I do end up implementing something, but it won't be for a while, so you won't see it for a while. In fact, I don't think I even have footage of that solution. So I think after I've done all of these videos that I had sitting around, I'm going to do maybe even a live recording. Maybe I'll even stream it live, like a YouTube live, of my facility, sort of a tour. The only problem is that I've kind of overloaded the central area with so much stuff that it lags terribly. And I've tried running it off of, one computer and playing it on another. I don't know how the screen recording situation is going to work with that setup. But ultimately, in order to do a really good video on it, I might either need to move things around in the world so things don't lag as much, or get a designated beefy computer to run the server as I play. Alright, so before we end the video today, I did want to slow down the footage just at this moment, taking you downstairs as I go to retrieve some materials and show you a little bit of what I've got going on. I've got a basic applied energistic system set up to store things on hard drives. And this is really helpful for storing a variety of items in smaller quantities. Larger stacks, larger volumes of items like cobblestone and dirt, they don't store well on the disks. They take up space a lot quicker. And you'd probably prefer to use drawers for all of that. Eventually, I realized that you can connect the drawers storage to the applied energistics setup and have them kind of communicate with each other very, very seamlessly. And that's like the best possible course of action, I think, for storing large amounts of things. And that's something I eventually do, but I don't do it for a while, so I don't think you'll see that in the next couple videos at least. But I think this is a good place to stop for now. I want to thank you for watching. Let me know if you like this format. I could always try to keep some more of the original commentary in. But for now, this is the way it is. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see next.